Today's video, we will be continuing our what if civilization restarted scenario. As we know, the world ended in the last episode due to a nuclear war. It's about been like 5,000 more years and a civilization around the Euphrates River has started. This civilization will be the color blue and be called Bluesic. Nope. It will be called Plusic. Yep, Plusic. And Plusic is a pretty strong nation. It's a first nation and it's following the Euphrates mostly. And it started moving down the coast, forming more fishing and farming, which is a good combo, I guess. Fish and bread. And they move up the Euphrates River, and I'm not sure where it goes. I know it goes into Syria and then Turkey. And then this one goes into Syria too. With this nation expanding and naming it Splawsy. No, they name it something around the lines. And so, yeah, the civilization moves south. Also moves down over here. Over hundreds of years, this is what it looks like after about 300, 400 years. They're traveling south still. And since it's better off to use white, I think white looks good to show what they know about. Because it happens a lot. Let's say they sent expeditions out, especially in this area. Let's say this is what they know about, and they're sending people to explore down here to see what they can find. They're making a pretty wide search. They also send them to search down into Arabia. Moving south into where Oman would be. All of the places down here are more so fishing. That's why it's so close to the coast, because it's a desert and there's not much to do in a desert. And that's basically what they do explore. And this is what they have. They're almost too big. As people start exploring down south into Arabia. With it looking like, yeah, a pretty great idea. With all the power being in the north, that's the only problem. It's not centralized authority, it's all in the north. So, like, the authority, there's no, like, authority down here to the people down here. They have no rights, basically. And this is pretty infuriating that they're being treated like less than the farming areas, which causes the Red Revolt. And basically this doesn't like a king ruling everything and just gets all the rich people to rule, which probably I think is aristocrats. But yeah. And I see an advantage with moving through the sand, so they move some troops through here. Directly to the up here. And I see this was a good strategy, but like there's nothing they can do because most of the people in the south are actually supporting this. And they move to Qatar and they agree to a peace treaty. Now there's two nations. Walzik, yep, Walzik, and Palzik. Walzik and Palzik. Those are easy names to remember, Walzik and Palzik. With the red team exploring a bit, well, the red country, not team. And as you can see, they're pretty much rolling everywhere, kind of like me. But anyways, we both roll everywhere, but that's besides the point. As they're exploring more of the north now, because they made a bad choice in expeditions down south. As they're still following these rivers, as I think that river goes there, this river goes here. And that's it for the rivers. And then they explore between the rivers. If you look at it, it kind of looks like the Sumerian civilization. Palzika. Which, I could have went with the Nile too, but like, they would have to meet each other and that'd be something. And trade routes will probably be established somehow. Like, how did Rome be able to trade with the Qing dynasty? But not know it existed. Decides to turn its attention this way as it thinks, yeah. As it keeps this expansion, which they turn to go north. This expansion's a mountainous area, so it just goes around the mountains. And they discover a new ocean. Them having discovered like that, then they discover this. Now they decide to go over this way to see if there's coast, which they do find. And then they move down here. Basically as far as they're exploring. They're exploring more than they're expanding at this point because they're not stable enough to expand long distances. They learned they got too big the first time and didn't give enough authority to different groups, so there's revolts. And then finding the corner of the continent, not the continent, the subcontinent, I guess you could call it, but to these people this would be a continent, as they're solely located here. So you can see those dots are remnants of old borders. They probably found some maps, but like most of our civilization is gone by these people showing up. By the time these people show up, I should say, not because they've shown up. Like, there's probably leftovers of our civilization. So, yeah. Maybe I'm the strongest nation in the Middle East. And them shifting their focus to go down here. And the same thing with the red team. And they both are doing this, although they could go over there. I don't know what it looks like over there. They don't even know the Caspian Sea exists. And that's pretty crazy to think. Considering we have satellites to know where everything is. And them exploring into the desert. This is one of... Oh wait, I just realized it's probably the worst area for them to explore in the desert. But anyway, there's like nobody there, literally. Because it's basically an inhospitable desert. Not that you can't walk by it. But like people didn't walk by it till like the 1600s or something they were at it. Well, they know it exists. They just haven't explored it, I guess we could say. But they did. That doesn't make sense. Well, I'm moving to see if they can connect between these areas. They're realizing they can solidify more power if they discover this. But like, after seeing how hard it is to explore this, I kind of just move in and annex these lands. So I don't overexpand. But there are people that want to expand into different areas of the world. And that nation being worried about its stabilizing. With the red team moving into this area by the Strait of... Oh. And there's like really a rivalry between the two nations. With them going into the desert and finding like nothing. And them expanding into the desert, they got nothing out of it. With the blue team, with people wanting to explore further in the Turkey, they are focusing on exploring into Africa, but some people want to explore in the Turkey. And they discover a lot of stuff. Well, mostly that the blue team isn't even interested in Turkey. They don't know what's called Turkey, probably. With the green team of being formed. The green team is a big team. But anyways, that's beside the point. And kind of off point. But anyways, let's see them explore into Turkey. That's what they wanted. With them becoming the third country of Malzik. Yep, I don't know where I get these foolish names, but let's give them foolish names. As they move into this area and they explore the Adriatic Sea. Because why not? They find Crete. They also move in and they start to find Greece. They're discovering a lot. Considering this is rapid exploration. This is the age of discovering Europe. The European move thing. I'm taking over all of this area. And starting to move some assets over here, but not a lot. It's going to take them a while to get people there. With another group deciding they want to explore into this area. And this is just because they do. a lot of the people freeze to death in the mountains. But anyways, before they decide to form a mountain country. Guess we could call this the Alpine nation. Yep, let's call it Alpine. Yeah. And as we can see, they stretch from the Caspian Sea to the Black Sea. Kinda like historical Armenia's. And the blue team seeing they made a mistake by trying to move there. By not moving up there, so they decide to move into North Africa. And then they expand their knowledge of this area as wide as they physically can. And then they move down here. As they move down the coast, they also move down the Nile. And then they explore these lands between the Nile and it. They see how hard it was to expand desert, but yeah. And them expanding into this area first. Then they decide to expand across North Africa. Because they see how late they were. And they move down here. They'll move to the edge of their exploration, because that's just not the best idea. And I'm running into one huge error. I'm missing a few, dots on the map. Not a big deal when it's explored land, but once it becomes country lands, it's kind of a big deal. But anyways, that's the worst thing that could happen. With the discovery of Africa being made by the red team. The blue team made it before, but the red team's now making it. As they're exploring rapidly. Moving in from the coast there, but now they're realizing they should just travel the coast. They see that going down here is not the greatest idea yet. So they do see it's not like they can expand too fast into here. They see nice lands here, nice over here. Overall, it's pretty good over here. With a revolt happening in this country again due to feeling like they're being not neglected or that they want to form their own nation. This is the Iranian lands. They want to explore into this area to the north. They move too close to the core of the country, so they sign peace with them. Who decide they will explore into up north. They also decide to explore over here. But they don't explore all the way there. That's too far. And as we can see, the strongest nation in this region is obviously the Red Nation. Now it's time to start a little competition. With eventually, after a long time of exploring, they discover all of this. The humans do in each of the civilizations. With this civilization making it to this over here, the yellow team isn't very happy that somebody else is to where they wanted, but that's life. With the blue team deciding, since they heard about this exploration, to take some land. With a Middle East expedition starting, both nations are in basically a cold war between one another. With the blue team and the red team competing about the lands down here. Which they finally discover all of this. And who starts the land grab? Well, that's not going to matter anymore. But the red team quickly moves up the coast. Same with the blue team, who then moves to connect these areas. So they can have this area taken easily. With the red team moving along doing that too. But the blue team decides to move down faster. Which isn't very good. Then they start curving back. But the red team wants to keep them away. So basically this becomes them finding their path. But eventually they do. With the red team hindering them slightly. The blue team did. And the red team was hindered by the red team who got more of the coast. And they had to get more of the desert. That's how it works. And that's pretty much all for today's video. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And thanks for watching, guys. It's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out. Bye, guys.